Cold open king. You ready?
Let's see what you got.
Have you ever had a zit on the inside of your nose?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's painful.
It's painful and it's not good.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Are you experiencing this right now?
Yes, on the right side.
Okay.
Like, you don't realize how much, you just wipe crumbs off. No, you don't get crumbs on your face, but like crumbs in your mustache, your beard, and you wipe your face and just the slightest little touch of your nose. And then every time you like make a weird face and it stretches your nose out, you don't know it until it hurts all the time. Then it's pulling. Oh,
You're experiencing a lot of pain these days.
a lot of body annoyances.
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome everybody back to In the Field. Nope, scratch that. Field to Table. Meant to do that. I am your constant and forever vigilant and present host, Daniel Myers. Thanks for coming back and listening to me talk endlessly about basically nothing. And today I have the great pleasure of being joined by the true boss of our podcast, Miss Meredith Thomas.
I feel like you're giving me a little bit too much credit there.
Well, you're the boss. You're the boss that we look to. Like, is this okay?
Sometimes not enough.
Yes. Oh, come on. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm the resident fact checker. I think is probably more so my role.
Yeah, producer, boss, fact checker, and overall just everything. You're a content manager here.
Yes.
And how long have you been here now?
Oh, I started in November, so
6 months.
A little over like 7 months? 6 to 8 months, depending on what day of the week it is. Yeah.
All right. Man,
feel like I've gotten to know the trades more than I have ramped up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I gotta say, and this is not just because we're recording this, but since you've been here, you've been on fire. Just you're a ball of activity. You're never bored.
No.
It's funny. Lauren, who is our new graphic designer that just started, she put out a little message yesterday and saying, "Hey, I've pretty much gotten everything done that that I started out with. If y'all need any help with anything." And the first thing that crossed my mind is I've never even fathomed Meredith saying that.
I think it's probably because I'm really, really good at starting new things.
Oh, okay.
But it's the tying the bow on top of something that I struggle with.
Yeah.
So I've got 4 things that are like 90% done.
So you're like most of our customers. There
you go.
Me included. I've got no less than 4 things around the house that I've started and gotten about 90% done with, but
yeah.
I'm so excited to start new stuff though.
I know, right? No, it's like the part of the process. Like right now in my garage, I have a completely stripped dresser. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace and I'm like trying my hand at the whole refurbishing furniture, whatnot. And so I've done the stripper. I'm waiting. I just need to go grab my dad's sander and then sand that. But I'm like, I don't know if I want to be done with this part because it's moving through the process. Like I like each part of it. I'm going to sit here and then moving in. Yeah. I don't want to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know. Even when we moved in, our bathroom's kind of weird. It's built in the 70s and we have 2 separate vanities. Like they're not even connected at all. And then the bathroom, the master bathroom's in the middle. So like the shower, tub, toilet are all in the middle. And then the 2 vanities are on 2 opposite sides and we have separate closets.
Okay.
And there was no door to block out the vanity. It was just a cased opening with trim. Well, the first thought was I get up early and I turn the light on and Lindsay's going to throw shit at me for blinding her with light at 5 a.m. when I get up. And so I put doors in and I put the trim on, most of the trim. Both doors are missing 1 piece at the top. We've almost lived there for 2 years. And they're not painted either.
It's just your little signature, isn't it?
Yeah. It's my signature, yeah. But then, I have so much stuff to do around that house. I say this all the time, but that house is It's a project. I know it's a project. I know what I got when I bought it. I knew it. And so I'm just constantly squirrel, 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 squirrel. Just so much stuff to do. Da, 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 da. And somewhat justifiably so, some of it is based on the weather.
Sure.
And so, like, I don't want to do things when it's 110 outside. I'd rather do them in the spring,
Right.
when it's 80 or 60 outside,
Right.
So I justify to myself, I don't want to die doing this outside. So I need to do it in the springtime. So then I go outside and I get all that stuff done. Meanwhile, there's 2 pieces of trim missing,
Right.
The top of
Right.
these doors.
Right.
And then,
you're kind of like a home repair farmer.
yeah,
like it's seasonal.
yes, yes, very much so. And, I don't know. Were you here when my kitchen caught on fire?
I know there are a couple of fire stories that have always been kind of they've kind of been hanging in the air, like, oh, that's a story for another day. Like don't know the story of Ben's house. I don't know. I've never heard of this story of yours.
Okay.
What
Yeah,
happened?
I think it was before. Yeah, it was last May. I was making dinner. I was getting ready to make dinner and we have these cast iron pans we use a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had cleaned it out. I put oil in it and I was waiting on it to warm up, which cast iron takes a long time to warm up, And then my wife got home. So I heard the garage door come up and she had a whole bunch of groceries and our son and a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll just go out and help her. And so I went outside and got a whole bunch of stuff. And then I heard my daughter screaming at the top of her lungs.
Oh my God.
Absolutely screaming bloody murder, which
never
something's
a good, up. Yeah, never a good sign.
She doesn't ever do that.
No.
And so then, and all I heard was that it's on fire. It's on fire. It's on fire. And I left the pan on the stove
with oil in it.
With oil.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh my God.
So I opened up the back door and just black smoke in the game room.
Where was Ashton? Was she in the house or did
she ran out front, which is why we heard her, because we were in the driveway getting stuff out. I got my son out. We got all the groceries and I don't know, maybe the dogs ran out too. I don't know. And so, yeah, so I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. I went in I have fire extinguishers around the house because I'm a Boy Scout, and and I have gas appliances, so I'm not dumb. So all I had to do was run in there underneath the kitchen sink in the back corner, grab it, and just poof, put it out.
You say it. All I had to do is this. You had to run into a pool of smoke.
It was smoke.
Not knowing how big the
building.
Fire had been. No, like your fight in that situation, I am 1000% flight. No, I'm on the other side of the block, like far away as I possibly can be.
Well, I've been in some bad situations, and that's okay. That's manageable. And I knew that it was, and I also processed very quickly that and this was part of the whole situation. It's like, how long I know I haven't been out here that long. And so I knew that going in there, like, this is not a full, my roof is not on fire.
Right,
I know,
right.
So I just, all I had to do was just hold my breath, walk in there and get the fire extinguisher, poof, open up the window, and then the house is clear.
Keep calm and put out fires.
Yeah. Whatever.
Naturally. Yeah. Hey, and you said it was in May. And so then you had a bunch of indoor farming to do.
Oh, yes. I had about, 2 weeks of indoor farming project. But I said all of that to say this, that after okay, let me put it this way. It was so little, I didn't even get my homeowner's insurance involved because it wasn't enough damage to even meet my deductible.
Okay.
And so that's how little this was.
Okay.
And smoke was the worst part because it's this film that gets on everything. And so,
and I've been to your house. And so did it have the kitchen have the same layout that it has now? And open.
The only thing I did was we had an electric cooktop and we hated it. We hated it when we moved in.
Right.
This was an excuse to get a gas one.
Sure.
It's a little bit more money to get a gas one, but we just did it. And the gas line's already there.
It was on the to-do list anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It was going to happen eventually anyway. So we just used that opportunity to get a gas cooktop, and the cabinet and the microwave was above it. And it was one of those like vent hood,
sure,
recirculating vent hood thing.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Does it?
Huh?
I always think those things look so nice. Does it just suck?
Oh yeah, they just suck because they don't filter anything, and they just throw the air back into the kitchen.
Oh.
And so when you have a gas cooktop, you need to have a vent hood that goes outside. It has to go outside because you got
Oh.
carbon monoxide being
That makes sense.
as a
Okay.
byproduct of natural gas. And so I bought an actual vent hood that you all saw.
Yeah.
So I took out that cabinet and we put the microwave in the bar, and then I just bought a little vent hood, vented it to outside. The vent was already there, so it really wasn't that much to do.
Yeah.
I fixed the tile backsplash. Microwave plastic was melted all over the countertop, so I had to scrape it all off with a razor blade.
Gross.
And repaint the cabinets that were, coated in smoke. And so it really wasn't that much to do. But I said all that to say this: all of the little trim pieces, like around the oven housing, the piece of plywood at the top on the ceiling, and I still have to paint those.
Yeah.
And the grout caulking against the countertop, against the bottom where the tile meets.
Yeah.
That's all I have to do. And that project's done. And that
so
was
just a matter of like going to the store and getting your stuff. Again, it's the Daniel signature.
Yes. And I know
you should like schedule yourself. Well, this is work, Meredith talking. I'm the same way as that when I'm not like with my own personal things. You should schedule like one day.
And just be like, I know I should.
Yeah, but like do it.
Oh, I know. I know what I should do. Trust me.
Story of my life.
I've always known what I should do my entire life. But then
but then the couch looks so comfortable.
Oh, that's the thing. I don't sit down. I don't. Nope.
No.
Mm-mm.
Are you waiting for your kids to be of age to where they can then finish the trim?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're teaching them initiative.
I'm teaching them how to get stuff started 100% and then hand it off to somebody else to finish it.
Whoever said that the first, what is the saying? Like the hardest part is just to start.
Oh no, I got that down pat.
Yeah, no, literally expert starter right here.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I know what saying you're talking about,
maybe it has to do with writing or something.
Yeah, and I can see where that would be in a creative endeavor.
Yeah.
But I'm not very creative.
I disagree, but that's okay.
Okay.
I think you have to have a vision for things, and like that's creativity too.
Yeah, but it's also very practical because I've done home repair and construction, that kind of thing my whole life. And so I know what bad work looks like, but then I also know what really good work looks like. And so I'm just trying to recreate what good work looks like. To me, it's so practical.
Right. But like, so is, painting a canvas could be seen as like a practical thing, but like it is artwork, I think. You use your hands. There is a good way to do it. There are people who are great at it and artistic and whatnot. And then there are people who are shit at it.
Yeah. But I think what you're talking about though, with using your hands that's craftsmanship to me. That's not necessarily artistic or creative, because my wife and my daughter are very creative. They're very artistic.
Yeah.
My wife can recreate paintings. Mm-hmm. She can paint her own stuff. And my daughter's the same way, very, very artsy and creative and making something out of nothing. Mm-hmm. But they also don't know where they're going to end up sometimes. Right. I have a goal. I always have a finished product. And then my only craftsmanship is just reverse engineering it to know where to start. So I think craftsmanship is different than artisanship or creativeness. Sure. And so that to me is a very clear line in the sand of,
you're more uncomfortable when you don't know what the end product is going to look like.
No. I have to plan things out for months. Okay. And think about how I want it to be, and then in context of my own house, I'm going to be there for the rest of my life, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing things and planning things and building things in a way that, because I'm anticipating doing another project when I have the cash later on, it might be in 5 years.
Sure.
But I'm not going to do something now that I have to tear apart in 5 years because we change it. So I'm
right. So it's like more practical, I guess.
Very,
yeah. I have a friend, one of my roommates just she and her fiance just bought a house he works in construction, and they just bought like a real like unlivable home.
Okay.
And so they're about to start that process too. And
Yeah.
she's like, because she's like me, she doesn't know everything that goes into the process. I would argue in the past 6 months, I've learned a little bit more, but he's more so just like focus on the wedding. I've got this. Like, he's like, has all the plans drawn up, and she's like, but what about that? And he's like, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Like,
And some people, and I was starting to say some women, but it's not even women, because I've seen men have this problem too. They don't understand why in construction, why things need to be a certain way.
mm-hmm.
And it's hard for some people, like your friend's husband, or, you know, and me too. I have a hard time explaining why things are the way that they are. Yeah, I just know it. I just know that this is the way it's supposed to be. I know that this is the best way to do it.
This was a conversation that you and I had on like very early on, when you were like taking me through kind of general information about the different trades industries and whatnot. And you were like, plumbers are like, we know for a fact this is not gonna work.
Yeah. And they have a lot of knowledge and a lot of intuition, because, and a lot of times for plumbers, it's because they have fixed something in the past that didn't work.
Yeah.
And you don't.
So it's experience. It's not even intuition.
It's experience. Yeah. And it's a little bit of intuition, because you can see something and you just stare at it. You don't know why you're looking at it. You don't know why but something's off, but you don't know exactly what's off.
Okay. It feels like a Secret Service agent, like that has to just like know kind of.
Yeah. You just have to, your spidey senses kind of start tingling and you just, you know, and here's, to get into the weeds on this, some things would even pass building code, which is like a bare minimum standard.
Okay.
But a professional, like perfectionist plumber knows, yeah, but building codes also kind of suck.
Okay.
And it's like the bare minimum for existence, and for like bare minimum for code that's building code.
Right.
Whereas a perfectionist, a very proficient plumber says, yeah, it'll pass building code, but it won't last.
Yeah.
You know, or you'll have problems.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, as an example, you can run a couple of bathrooms, like a toilet and a shower, off of a minimum size of pipe.
Yeah.
But a plumber knows, legally you can, but a plumber knows if you're taking a shower and then someone comes in and flushes a toilet, your shower won't drain for a minute, because the toilet now puts all the water in the drain pipe.
Yeah.
And so your shower stops draining for a second. It'll get back to draining.
Right.
But that totally perfectionist, proficient plumber knows, in the scenario where maybe your other bathroom is under construction, you're getting it remodeled, and so you have 2 kids and mom's in the shower.
Right.
And so both kids are brushing their teeth and running the sinks. And then dad, being gross, comes in and uses the toilet and flushes the toilet. All of that. But building code doesn't account for that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like, it'll work, but like for somebody like me, it's like, oh, I would see the shower filling up with water or the bathtub filling up with water and think, crap, got to call the plumber. Something's wrong.
Yeah. And so plumbers, they have that intuition and they have that experience of just knowing, yeah, okay, it'll work, but it's not the best that it could be, or here's why, you know, we need to do it this way type thing. And then,
and it's so interesting too, because like, I feel like when people are talking to your plumbers, your electricians, whatever, it's like, there's a sense of urgency from the customer side of things. And so they're kind of like deaf to hearing things like that, you know? So it's like, okay, no, I can sit you down and I can explain to you as well as I can, like, why this is not going to work. But it's like, all the customer is hearing is like money. Like they're just trying to get more money out of me, which is not the case. It's like, well,
no, in fact, there's many times when I went through this many times when I owned a couple of my businesses, that I've lived enough life and had enough experience that I don't do things any way of shortcut at all. I don't skimp on anything. And if you don't want me to do it my way, then this relationship isn't going to work.
Right.
Call somebody who will do it your way.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do it my way. And my way is I don't want you to, number one, badmouth me when something stops working in 6 months or a month, because what people are not going to tell their friends or their neighbors or their coworkers is, I told the plumber exactly what to do and I told him how much I was going to pay him. And when it breaks, somebody fixes it on the cheap and then it breaks again. People are just pissed off and they just badmouth the plumber. They don't give any context to the actual way that it went down.
Like there's one person's truth, there's the other person's truth, and then there's the real truth. Yeah.
And this is how I learned this lesson was I mostly refinish the inside of someone's house. They bought kind of a beat up home. Maybe it was a rental type thing, put all new flooring in, new trim, hung some prefab cabinets, which is what they wanted. So that's what I did. Okay. And then at the end, they were saying, hey, we've made some choices and some upgrades and things. They did. And hey, we're running out of money, so we're going to paint it ourselves.
Okay.
At the time, I was like, okay. I mean, I get it. You're coming up on your budget. Okay, I get it. So I finished the construction part of it. I did all the drywall. I hung all the fixtures, the flooring, the trim, everything was in. And then I left. I was done.
Mm-hmm.
They painted it and it looked horrendous. Horrendous.
Which I feel like people don't, it's like, it doesn't seem like it would be that hard, but like then, you see the story of the person doing it themselves and it's just like, oh, it's because the TikTokers aren't putting up the bad ones,
no.
like.
Well, then they had their housewarming party and everyone was, oh.
Who did this?
Oh, that's
something.
Okay. I'm sure once drinks started flowing, then people actually started speaking their minds. Guess who did all the work?
Daniel Myers handyman.
Yeah. Daniel Myers did all the work. They did not admit to anyone that they painted. They just told them who did all the work.
That's actually such bullshit.
It is. And so I knew them. I wasn't invited to the housewarming party for obvious reasons.
They were slandering your name.
Well, because they hopefully either they knew or they didn't know that I would have not stood for that bullshit. But I knew other people who went and told me afterwards.
You had your sources.
Hey, did you paint that house? I know. And somebody even said to the effect, I don't remember the exact words, was like, I know you don't do paint work like that.
Yeah.
And I said, you're right. I don't.
You had advocates.
They did.
Yeah.
And then the truth kind of came out. And then
do you call them and say, can I please have your guest list so that I can follow
up? I never talk to those people
them?
again. After you do somebody dirty like that, I don't need to.
No.
I don't need to ever. But I at least felt kind of vindicated in that there was enough people that I knew that went to that housewarming party that the word kind of got around is like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. He did not.
Good. And because it should look bad on the people who you're the customers, like the homeowners, like it's good that one, your name was not like that you had advocates there for the quality of work that you do. And then two, like, what the hell, people? Like, do we want to be friends with people who like are just going to smear somebody? Are shady?
No,
yeah.
No, I don't. But yeah, back to your original point that, about the different trades having their different intuition experiences there. And HVAC has the same kind of people in it where they have just, the right guys have been at the right jobs at the right time with the right experience, and they know why something is going to work or not going to work, and the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things. And there's a whole bunch of people out there who are just selling shit just to sell shit so their invoices are bigger, but that doesn't always, putting more money into it doesn't always fix the problem, which is what customers are so afraid of.
Right.
Which is why it's so hard to differentiate and determine, if you get 3 or 4 different estimates on something, who's telling me the truth and who's trying to just make more money and who's actually trying to do the right thing.
Right. And like, who can I go to actually help me? Like, yeah, it is all about like, who can I trust? And so, yeah. It's like, it's so interesting because I'll hear people talking about things and like, I guess from having this job too and learning so much more about the trades, I've gained so much empathy And like, I feel, the more you understand about anybody's like work or like situations or whatever, you obviously gain more empathy. But like, it's hard because it does say like, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why, people can't trust the trades because there are the bad actors and like,
yeah, there are
the people who are doing bad things, or just like poor, like people who are really confident and then, they don't have the experience and might not have done something correctly. And then it just kind of like people can categorize like, oh, like those guys don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, all plumbers are crooks or all HVAC guys are crooks.
Right.
No, actually, there's some of them that actually know their shit.
Right.
And then.
But it's also like saying that you got like the wrong diagnosis at the doctor and saying like all doctors are crooks. Like,
yeah,
like,
they're not.
They're not.
You can't just blanket categorize people in any way.
Right.
For anything except for car salesmen. Most of them are just.
If anybody wants to sell me out a car for a discount.
Man, when I caught on to what CarMax did when they came into the industry, if you will, and selling cars, it blew me away. Like that's the way to buy a car.
Enlighten me.
You go to CarMax, they're the ones, the innovators, if you will, of this kind of flat rate pricing.
Okay.
The price that you see is the price that you pay. There is no negotiating. They don't negotiate on price.
Okay.
Their salesmen don't make commission. Their salespeople make a flat commission on every car that they sell.
Okay.
I don't think it's a percentage of the price of the vehicle. I think let's just call it like $1,000.
Okay.
They sell a car, they get $1,000.
They come from two separate pools of money. There's like the budget for the salesman commission, and then there's the revenue from the car.
Yeah. What are you talking about exactly?
I'm making it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But
so a traditional salesperson is on commission, right? They get a percentage of the sale.
Right.
CarMax employees get a flat rate commission.
Okay.
So if they sell a $100,000 car or a $25,000 car, they make the same amount of money.
Okay.
So to them, it's about volume.
Right.
They're just trying to sell as many cars as you can sell per day.
Right, which is great because then they're more focused on finding the solution for the customer. Yeah.
And so for the CarMax salesman, you can walk in there, you can walk the lot, and they're not approaching you when you're out there walking around. They're all hanging out in the air conditioned building because that's where they want to be.
Right.
That's where you have to go to do the paperwork. And so whoever you snag to do your paperwork is who's going to do your paperwork for you. But that to me blew the top off my mind when they came in, and that to me was like, that's the way to buy a car. That's freaking genius.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. There's no which I hate haggling and negotiating. I hate it.
I love it in like a low stakes situation.
So that's when it's the most annoying, is like when I know and you know that there's not a whole, just cut the shit.
Right.
All right. Just get to the price.
No, we were talking about that. I was talking about this with some other people earlier today, but big Shark Tank people.
Okay.
Like I love watching Shark Tank.
Okay.
And like, it pains me so much when the business owner or the founder, the entrepreneur is like, it takes the deal so quickly. I'm like, oh man, that shark would have taken it for 10% less, dude. Like, you were robbed.
Oh, God. Just, God, it's so much.
The power imbalance in those kinds of things. Like, and I studied human relations in college, and like, so it's not so much psychology. It's more the way that people communicate and whatnot. And so it's something that I don't use strictly in my job, but it's very like human and like life. It's good life lessons on things. Yeah. It's good to know. Yeah. And so that's the kind of thing that I'm really interested in. So I'm like, okay, so who's wearing the pants in this situation? And like, if it's not me, how can it become me? Like, or even just like, observing other people too. It's like, all right, why is this so off? Does somebody not realize that they're like, they have no power in this situation? Or do they not realize the power that they have, or whatnot? I don't know. It's
and I've and taken it to business. It's funny that you have studied it and then I've kind of lived it.
Right.
And I've in a context of construction and handyman and that kind of thing, I never did any advertising. And so if you called me, it's because you got my name from somebody that you knew. It was all word of mouth, especially my handyman business. It was all word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew walking in, you called me.
Yeah.
I didn't pay a lead gen or an ad or something trying to
Yeah.
earn your business.
Right.
You called me.
Yeah.
So I'm automatically in the upper hand.
100%.
And then after the end, especially in my handyman business, my kitchen remodeling business I had, and that was different. Those are different stakes. The handyman business, I'd walk in and give you a price, and that's just my price.
Right.
And people try and haggle, people try and negotiate, people, and the good old line, oh, if you help me out, I'll hook you up with my friends or whatever. Like, I probably already know all your friends.
Right.
There's a reason I'm in this gated neighborhood. It's because they all know who I am.
Sure.
And I know you can afford it because I'm looking at a marble driveway.
Right.
So no.
A chandelier that hits the floor.
A chandelier on a winch in the ceiling that you push a key in and you turn it and it comes down on an electric winch.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why? Literally, why?
Yeah. I know you can afford it. And so I kept my business operating in a way that I always had lead time. I was always booked out for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4 weeks.
And I feel like that also makes it look like increases your power too, because then it's like, oh, like he's so booked, but he can like squeeze me in on Friday. You know,
no,
like,
I don't squeeze people in. I never did.
No, but like if you framed it like that,
oh
like,
yeah.
Then people are like, oh, I'm so lucky that he's able to get me in there. You know,
you build that exclusivity kind of mystique around it. Yeah,
yeah. Because I was thinking through like lead gen. Obviously, there's so much competition and whatnot, but like if you say like, oh, we just hired on another team member, so we're taking new clients. You know, something like just the way that you frame it to kind of see like works. Yeah, that'll just psychologically.
And I'll never forget rolling down the tollway in pretty dead stop traffic in the middle of the day. Got a call, picked it up, talking to this lady, and she's just hyper, just on another level, panicking almost. And I, hey, what, why do you seem panicked? What's going on? Is there something? Are you selling? I dealt with a lot of real estate customers and a lot of people trying to get their house ready to sell, or hey, I'm in this repair amendment, phase, and all I need is an estimate, and then and that all worked itself out. But this lady was trying to get her house ready to sell, and she was trying to have the upper hand and put herself in the upper hand of, hey, I need you to do this, and I need it now, like demanding of this, and so I gave her some ideas and some ballpark pricing on things. And, oh, that's way too high. That's way too much. I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying for that. And I said, well, okay, well then, I'm not your huckleberry. This is not going to work. And she thought she had this entitled thing like, oh, well, you have to, though. You have to come. I'm calling you. You have to come work for me. And I said, no, actually, I don't. And there's lots of other people that you can call. And oh, by the way, something that you mentioned 10 minutes ago is that your deadline, I can't meet your deadline, but you won't stop talking. So I can't tell you,
right.
I can't get a word in edgewise to tell you that I'm not going to be able to schedule you before your deadline anyways.
Right.
And so all of that in my head while she's talking and just kind of trying to berate me, trying to like get me down. And I said, not only do I not need your business, I've actually missed 3 other phone calls while I've been on this phone call with you, and I'm scheduled out for 3 weeks. And she was just, oh my God, and she just could not fathom that people were paying me my rates,
right?
And that so many people were paying. It just blew her mind.
That you're not just like sitting on the couch waiting for
I'm
her
not just
individual
so
phone
for
call.
work,
Yeah.
Nope, I'm good.
No, it's know your worth.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then recently, did you see the South Park episode with the handyman?
Nah.
Oh my It's South Park. So it's perfect. It's perfect. There's the tides have turned, if you will, like everything has turned, and the construction people have all the power.
Right.
They are the lawyers, they're the doctors, they're the judges, like clout of because they're the only people that can do shit anymore. Everyone is a geologist or a
software engineer,
or something or whatever.
An influencer.
Yeah, they're not a cabinet maker or a carpenter. And so this guy shows up, and there's lots of clips you can see from the show where there's all these, suburban, the people of South Park, the dads, they're all at Home Depot with their signs, and they're out there begging for work. I think it stands that is like, I'm a geologist. I can trade you some geology. And the guy in the handyman van is like, y'all should really leave. Y'all are really making this place look bad. It's so good. But South Park, they get it. They got it. I mean, you can't.
They hit the nail on the head.
You can't deny them. They hit it on the head of,
right.
If you're good at what you do in this industry and you're legit enough to be in business and be successful on your own, know your freaking worth and know what you should be charging. And I come across this all the time. Seeing our customers talk about it, seeing other people talk about it online and this and that is, how much should I charge for this? Why are you asking these questions? How much you should be charging for something, which is a whole nother discussion we can have with somebody else, but know what you're supposed to be charging, charge it, and stand behind your pricing. And it is what it is. And they're either going to pay you or they're not going to pay you.
I agree with you, but I also feel like, if you're starting, from square one, or if you've only been in it for a little while and you're trying to expand or trying to like move your business in a different direction, it's like saying charge what you need to charge is so simple, but like, and I see people talk about this too. It's like, I'm not getting any leads because I'm being, I'm being undercut by other competition in the area and whatnot. And it's like, it's about finding what you feel like your work is worth. And then also like figuring out, it is supply and demand. So like, where are the customers then that are going to pay for that? Like, is anybody in your area paying XYZ for this? Or like, you can be on the upper side of things, but like, what's the range that people are charging right now? And that's like, you have to have some sort of gauge or like starting point.
And you're right. There is a gauge. There is a range, if you will, of acceptable prices in your area. If it's per zip code or county or rural or urban or right. And those things change, and they do change drastically across the country and across. But then I ask people, and I've had these conversations with people, what are you selling?
Yeah.
If you're selling yourself as an electrician, there's a million electricians in this country. Are you solving solutions to people's problems that they didn't even know that they had? Can you show up and, find a plug that's not working, and, oh, by the way, it's not working because I found this, because I found this, because I found this. And hey, I've also got these new, dimmers from my supplier. Could I put one in for you and you let me know in a month what you think of it? If you don't like it, I'll come take it out. Have a different, sell something different than your time.
Right.
And then you're selling you're not selling electrical work. You're selling a relationship that somebody can call you. So
yeah.
What I always did for my customers and what I always told them is, hey, I've been doing this for a long time. I know a lot of people that do a lot of things. If I trust them, you can trust them. So please call me.
Yeah.
Please. If you need roofing work done, I don't do roofing.
Right.
But if you need some roofing work done, call me.
Yeah.
And I'll be a resource for you, and I will send you people's numbers. I've said it before. There's this one lady, I don't remember her name right now. It's been a couple years. I talked to her no less than 5 times on the phone. I never met her once.
Yeah.
I never worked at her house because every time she knew that about me.
Right.
But anything that she ever needed was nothing that I did.
Her trades concierge, you were.
Yes, I was her resource. And so that's, I think, a big part that's missing of our customers. And some of them get it, is you need to
our customers as in Field Pulse customers.
Field Pulse customers. You need to start making relationships with your customers. You need to start calling them and, wishing them happy birthday and just getting to know them a little bit. And if you know a good AC guy, spread the word around. And that's getting into like networking and community building, that kind of thing, which is a whole separate thing. But when you are at the top of someone's mind, then you're just there and they remember you and they stick at the top of your mind. And then you are at the top of their mind. And I mean, I can attest to it. Hey, I went to a restaurant last night and I heard somebody talking about, and this is somebody that spread my name. They gave my name to somebody else at a restaurant. They heard them talking about, hey, a husband and wife talking about, they need to get this fixed. And, we're about to go out of town and this and that. And I told them to call you. So they should be calling you.
Right. It almost comes back to like the fact that people want to be able to provide a recommendation to help other people solve their problems. And so like even taking it back a layer, not from, the technician or the owner or whatever, it's like the customer, if they know of another customer, like whenever anybody's like, does anybody have a dentist? Does anybody have this? It's like,
I asked for that.
Everybody jumps to like provide because you want to ride for your people, but then it's also like, I want to be the one that they, they take my solution,
Yep.
Which like, maybe you need to find some like competitive customers then. So
yeah. What else has stuck out to you or kind of come to light for you? Maybe something that you didn't know or something that you didn't see coming since you've been working here and kind of, I mean, you've gotten to talk to some of our customers. You've gotten to meet some of them. You've gotten kind of in their headspace, if you will. What is something just completely out of left field that you didn't anticipate or you didn't see coming?
I don't know if there's much that I like didn't necessarily anticipate, but there is a lot that I just didn't even think about. Okay. Like something that I think about a lot is that, when we're in the office, I'm working next to you, I'm working next to the rest of our team. Like if I have a question or if I like need support on something, I can turn my swivel chair around and talk to you about it. Mm-hmm. But like when you're an individual technician, even if you have another team, but if you're on the job by yourself, one, there's nobody there to check your work. Two, there's nobody there to like ask questions to. And there's the pressure of, the customer breathing down your neck. And then with that too, as the owner, it's like, you have to have so much trust in the technicians that you're hiring that they can handle that situation. Because I saw a response from a customer recently on something that we sent out. It was like, our reputation has been tattered because of one or two guys that made an awful experience for the customer. And so it's just, it's such a tangled web of trust. And then also like having to rely on so many people for different things, especially if you want your business to grow and grow and grow. And so I think that was just something I never thought about. It's like, okay, so what if I was going out to a classroom where the teacher wasn't there, but like the test was a real life situation, that I think it's so admirable that people can. And like, I don't know if I could. It's like so much stress too. It's like, I just feels the pressure. And so I get like, there's like training and whatnot, but we always say expect the unexpected in the trades too. So like just figuring out how to be a real problem solver. And you might not know everything, but you can, like the intuition, ultimately the intuition and like the instinct is so interesting to me. And then it's just a whole different kind of business. It's like very entrepreneurial. It's like we talked about at one point too. It's like tradesmen aren't always the most people. They don't think of themselves as the most people, but then they love to talk with each other. They love to talk with each other. They love to shoot the shit, whatever it is. And so they are more people than they give themselves credit for.
And that was me for a long time and I see this in our customers is they don't want to admit that they're people. They bitch and moan and complain and gripe about customers, but they still pick up that phone and they still, and then.
Well, honestly, at the end of the day, it's kind of fun to bitch and moan about customers. Like,
and it is kind of an emotional, release of those certain people that just grind you down and they'll pay for it, but good God, they're going to make you pay for it.
Yeah.
So there is that kind of a release aspect to it, but there's also, I've done this. I have been the person that just complains and bitches and gripes while I'm donating my time to a women's shelter
Yeah.
to do, because it's something that I did in my business is once a quarter I would go out and not only donate my time, but I had a little savings account for donating money.
Yeah.
But I would do that and I'd happily give the money away. And then I would get in the middle of doing something for them in this particular time with this women's shelter, and just every single thing, every step along the way, this lady, God bless her heart, she was just on me, just literally looking over my shoulder. And
like she was trying to get a training.
No, she was just, I think, nervous because she was getting something for free.
Okay.
And I had done work for another women's shelter in Plano, and they know me, they love me. And then they recommended, hey, this other one, this city started with a D, Decatur, I think. Hey, we're in a network with them and they need some help. We're good over here. Can you? Yeah, sure. And so I didn't hold it against her at all because she was nervous and I'm getting something for free, but am I going to get screwed over? Is this free because this guy is terrible?
Right.
Or, is he doing community service, like as a judgmental consequence or
court ordered?
Court ordered community service. And so, and I didn't hold it against her, but she was just on me, just like almost touching me the whole time. And I'm just, lady, please just back up. Hey, what? Calm down. And she was just that nervous kind of person too. She was amped up on coffee or something. I don't know. But I'm in my mind, I'm just complaining about this woman as I'm doing generous work for free. But I'm, God damn it. I'm complaining, but just.
This won't be the last time I do this, but my God.
Do this again next quarter. It's just a frustrating situation, but there's a lot of people, a lot of guys and people and women too in this industry that will complain about the people. And did you ever see the movie Waiting? With Ryan. So. It was one of Ryan Reynolds' first movies. It's in a restaurant and it's a hilarious movie, but all the waiters are the main characters.
Yeah.
And so there's this one scene where this girl, she's the the angry, just like teenage, just full of rage. She's got short, spiky black hair, and just she's in the kitchen and just completely yelling, bitching at the kitchen staff, just yelling, "You stupid motherfucker, you stupid!" And she's walking and she's gripping her hands and her fingers are like spiders, and she's and she turns the corner. Hey, can I do anything else? Like that? That's it. That's being in a trades business. Is when you're in your truck, you're just hello. DFW handyman, how can I help you?
It's like the inventor of the stress ball was 100% a tradesman.
Yep. they knew what they were doing. Oh, something for you. I got this on the way in today. And I knew that you would love it.
What is it?
It's the ring on a string game.
Shut up.
So I saw that.
Is this a side swipe at me?
No.
Or is it?
It's a challenge.
Oh my God, wait, I'm actually so excited. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll get that put up for you.
Oh my God.
So
I'm not gonna, you think I've been on fire? I'm not gonna get any work done.
So a little context for anybody listening. We did a marketing offsite. When was that? Last month? It was Matt's first week. April Fool's week. So we went out and did a marketing offsite, and we got a little bit of work done, and then we started drinking, and all work was done. And we went out to what was the brewery that we went to? Petty Cola's. We went to Petty Cola's, went upstairs. They have a little loft area up there with foosball and ping pong, and
I think they have what's the slide?
Shuffleboard. Yeah. And so we were hanging out up there, and then they had the ring on a string game, which if you haven't seen it before, there's a hook in the wall. It's usually about, I don't know, chest high, waist high maybe. And then maybe 8 feet out from that, hanging from the ceiling, is just a metal ring on a string. And you just swing the ring back and forth on the string, and you try and hook it on the hook on the wall. And I've been playing this game for a decade, and I've been to a lot of bars and I've played this many, many, many times. And so I know how to get that thing to swing in a little bit of an oval. And it took me about 3 times and I got it. And so everyone else was doing it. And then here comes Meredith.
Daniel, you want to know something that's incredibly frustrating to me?
What?
I've played this game a lot.
Oh, you have? I thought this was your first time.
No. And I was like,
okay.
Oh my God. And like, never have I ever been good.
Okay.
But like, oh. And then, yeah, I'm sitting there for like 25 minutes.
Yep.
Like everybody's like, we have to go to dinner. Like, Meredith. I'm like, no. And Daniel's like, no, let me show you how to do it. Daniel takes one swing and it freaking hooks the thing. I'm like,
we were all talking in a little circle in a group, and Meredith's just over there, ting, ting, ting.
So fucking close, so many times.
Y'all should see the look on her face. I thought that was your really first time playing because how obsessed you got with it. I thought that was your first time.
No, I'm competitive as hell.
Yeah, that's ultimately where I wanted to get to. Is I saw something come out and you was like, oh, she means business.
I'm a girl with brothers.
Okay, all right.
I'm competitive. Oh my God, wait, I'm so excited. Thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome.
I thought it was going to be a stress ball where that was coming from.
No.
Oh.
So we'll get that up, and I guess that and the dartboard, we'll start having some tournaments in here.
This is really going to turn into our vision, isn't it?
Yep, and hopefully we don't move.
Well, our toys move with us.
Yeah, we'll take them with us, definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was. Thanks for coming. And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see y'all next week, I guess. Later.